it's been a minute, I know, been a minute and a bit more, and I've been away probably a good couple of years actually since I did my last video, but I thought let me touch base with you guys. As you can see from the title of this video, there's been some experimenting, so I wanted to share that journey with you, but also just to touch base and let you guys know, because I think the last video I did was talking about my explant surgery of my breast implants. So I'm still here, I'm still alive, and all is well. So yeah, now before I discuss what's been going on in my life, I just want to put a little disclaimer out there very quickly and get that out of the way. Look, I'm not a professional, I'm not a health advisor, I'm not a doctor, and I'm by no means telling you to experiment with illegal drugs at all. I'm just here to share my experience and let you guys do your own research and make your own mind up. So now we got that out of the way. Right, okay, so what's been going on the last 2 years is I've been on a bit of a spiritual journey, and I kind of started and came out, and I started a new job which I absolutely love. So those of you that followed me on my socials would have known that I'm working for Mr. Nigel Carver as his practice manager, and I'm still there and I'm loving my job. But yeah, so all is well, but I just felt something was missing in my life, and it didn't really matter what I did. I just felt there was something missing. And look, again, those of you that know me know that training's a big part of my life, but actually in the last couple of years it really hasn't been, and I haven't really been doing much training, and if I have, it's been sort of few and far between, and that was a big thing for me. I think it was a big thing for my mental state, but also my physical self, just managing my symptoms of my MS and stuff like that. So that's been difficult. But you know, shit happens, and I work full time. I've got 2 small children at home, plus a big boy who just turned 22. But I'm just busy. I'm busy, and you know, time for me is just, well, it's just not important. But anyway, so I decided I needed to do some soul searching, and I came across lots of information about psychedelics and the benefits to the being, spiritual journeys and all of that. And I researched and I researched and I researched, and I hummed and hawed with it because it is an illegal substance. And I really didn't know whether to do this video or not, but I'm not going to be going into how I got hold of it or anything like that. So I decided to do it because if it helps somebody else that's kind of going through similar things, then that's a job well done. So yeah, I did my research, and you know, for anxiety, depression, all of that, it can be useful for. So once I'd made my mind up, I think that was the hardest part, deciding did I want to do this, did I not? Once I decided that I was going to do it, then was the journey of trying to find somebody who could provide me with this. That was very difficult because, like I said, this is an illegal substance, so I'm not going to go into details about how I got hold of that, but I did eventually. And I took a gram. I took a gram of magic mushroom. The active ingredient in magic mushrooms is psilocybin, and that's the ingredient where the magic happens. I'm not going to be too informative about the whole thing, because if you're interested and you want to know more, then you can just do your own research. There's a ton of really useful videos on YouTube, which is why I decided to do this. Really informative, really break down the process, the pros and the cons, dosage and all of that. So anyway, yeah, this was last week, I took a gram, I put it in a tea, I brewed it, I drank the tea, and I went upstairs, closed my curtains, put a blindfold on, and decided I was going to meditate during this experience. And I'm going to tell you what happened, okay? So I did this on a Wednesday. Bearing in mind, if you've got kids or you've got things you should be doing, then you probably shouldn't be doing it, but I had the afternoon off. My husband had the kids, so that was fine. and I went upstairs. I did not know what to expect. I had heard a ton of stuff about what can happen and be ready for it and be prepared for it. So I just thought, I'm gonna go with it. I set out my intentions for wanting to do it, because if you haven't got an intention and you're just doing it for the sake of it, I really don't recommend. You need to know why you're doing it. Once you know why you're doing it and you can embrace the whole process, because sometimes it might not be the nicest experience, and you might have quite a frightening experience. So you need to know the intention for why you're doing it. So anyway, I did all that. Mine was a spiritual healing journey, and I think within 30 minutes it started kicking in really slowly. But I didn't see, like, people talk about having visuals and stuff like that. I didn't have any of that. What I did have, all my senses were heightened. So my hearing, my vision, everything looked really bright, and I had this huge feeling of love for everything and everyone and the universe. And I just felt really euphoric. I had the giggles at one point, and I was just laughing for an extended period of time, and it was great, and I loved it. And I think it probably lasted about 4 to 6 hours, and then, you know, you can feel yourself coming back to where you normally are. But my experience was absolutely eye-opening. And I really, sometimes it begs the question, why is something so great illegal? But people have been saying this about weed for a long time as well, and you have got to ask yourself, like, the pharmaceuticals, it's about monopolizing excuse me, on something, and if they were to make that legal, obviously they'd lose billions of pounds and dollars excuse me, each year. So it's not in their interest. But honestly, it's a journey that, even if you're sort of sitting there thinking, you know, I've been feeling really low, I'm on antidepressants, they don't work, or I really want to go into a spiritual journey. You might be suffering with an illness, or you might be in chronic pain, or whatever the reason. You should really do some research on it. It's not for everybody. It really isn't for everybody. I mean, psychedelics, there's lots of things, DMT, LSD, magic mushrooms, all these things fall in that category of psychedelics, and I've only done a gram, and I am planning on doing it again, and I am going to increase my dose and just see what happens. But I'm fully ready for a full-on trip where I almost leave my body and I experience something greater than what you experience in everyday life. So I'm fully prepared for that, and yeah, I just wanted to share this with you guys, and I've done it. So if you've got any questions, anything at all, drop it in the box below, and I'll try and answer as much as I can. Like I said, I'm not prepared to discuss where I got my supply or anything like that that's going to incriminate anybody. But any questions you've got about the mushroom or how it works, anything like that, or your experience, I'd love to hear you guys, and if you've done it, what your experiences were on it. And yeah, until then, peace out.